What's up, man? What you doing? Oh, hey, man. We're going to be doing a build in the Hyte Y70 case today, but we're going to be spending a lot of time on cable management. What do you mean? We're going to be making all cables in the front and rear of the PC look really clean, and we're also going to wrap each cable with 2 different kinds of cable wrap. Do you think you could walk me through the entire process? Of course. So I like to start by taking all of the panels off the case and just visualizing the build. So I like to kind of map out where all of my cables are going to be routed, and then just visualizing the end result and then just planning the build out. And then once I've got all the panels off and I've kind of got an idea of the direction I want to go, we can go ahead and take the case off the table and then move to some of the cable management. Awesome. I'm super excited for this. So we are going to take all of our PSU cables, like my GPU cable right here, and then it's going to end up looking how my motherboard cable looks right here. This is the 24 pin and this is ready to go. And what you're going to need is this style wrap right here. This is a cable wrap. You're going to need this coil cable wrap. You're going to need a pair of scissors, and then you're also going to need a lighter. So what you want to do first is you're going to want to cut to length the first wrap, and then we're going to wrap it around the GPU cable. So now that we've got our first piece of wrap on, we can go ahead and wrap this coil wrap around it. This one's already been cut to the length that I want, so let's go ahead and wrap it again. Okay, so we've got most of the PSU cables done, and then if you want at the end, you can take some white electrical tape and wrap it around there so you don't get any of that fraying that you might get from the first cable wrap that we used, and that's why we use the lighter. You kind of sear the end and it should get rid of some of that fraying, but you can also use some electrical tape. Okay, so I think we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and bring the case back up on the table. Those look great, but I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. So since you took forever in the bathroom, I went ahead and I wrapped all of our front panel connectors the same as we did with all of our power supply cables, and then routed them the direction that they're gonna go. And we're also gonna be fitting 3 fans down here, so they're most likely gonna sit about right there, but we'll get to that later, so let's move on with the build. So let's go ahead and install the CPU, the RAM, our drive, and also the brackets that we're gonna need for our AIO. So now that our motherboard's ready, I went ahead and positioned the riser cable out of the way. We're gonna grab our motherboard and now install into the case, and then install the riser cable into the motherboard. So now we can go ahead and install the bottom fans. Now we can install the power supply. So now we can start installing our power supply cables. Okay, so I've got all of the front panel connectors plugged in. I've got the motherboard 24 plugged in, and I've got the CPU cables plugged in. Now it's time to go ahead and install the side fans. And now the rear fan. So I went ahead and mounted the fans to the radiator. Now let's go ahead and put in the entire setup and then get the radiator bolted down. So I went ahead and I applied thermal paste to the CPU and I did spread it around. So let's go ahead and install the pump head. And then finally, we install the graphics card. I'm super excited to see the finished product. Let me know when I can open my eyes. Go ahead and open them. Dude, that looks amazing. Can you give me a walkthrough of the finished build? Yeah, of course, let's do it. So here is the finished build in all of its glory. It came out looking fantastic. I'm really happy with the end result. And as far as the build goes, we've got 6 intake fans. We've got 3 below the GPU, and then 3 on the side. And the side are reverse blade fans. So they are intake, and we get to see the pretty side of the fan. And then the top 3 fans and the rear are exhaust. So we've got a little bit of positive pressure, and temperatures so far have been fantastic. And I really like the uniform cable look. Gives a really cool mummy type vibe, or even like a space station type vibe. Let's go ahead and flip to the back, which is the star of the show, which is the cable management. And once again, I love the uniform cable wrap look. Came out really clean, especially with the white power supply. And the cool thing about this build is the fan controller is actually behind this drive caddy. So if I remove these 2 screws, slide this out, we can see our hidden fan controller, which is basically the only black component in this build. And now it's being hidden by this caddy. And it kind of makes the H stand out as well. And as far as the cables go, this is coming out of the controller, and this is going to a SATA port. It's all wrapped in there, all of our cables. Then this is our graphics card cable right here. We've got our motherboard 24 pin. This is our CPU cable going up and through. We've got our 2 fan cables up here, and then a few other miscellaneous cables. But you gotta love when the back looks just as good as the front. It came out looking really good. Do you think you can throw all the panels on, put it on your desk so we can see how it looks? Of course.